Well, we got a statement from the Treasury Department saying that they are adding 4 names to this list, the so-called nationals list, that is basically a sanctions on Chinese officials and Hong Kong officials in relationship, of course, to the national security law imposition by Beijing in late June, early July. Of course, it's interesting timing, obviously, of coming just less than a week after the election and a possible change in the White House, of course. But earlier, of course, the United States, in retaliation for that imposition of national security law, ended the extradition treaty, also ended reciprocal tax treatment on shipping with Hong Kong. It sanctioned senior officials, including Carrie Lam and others. Now, according to the statement from the Treasury Department, they've added 4 Chinese officials, but they did not give further detail, and they did not name those 4. Of course, China has responded to those earlier moves with retaliatory measures against U.S. senators as well as human rights activists, but so far had refrained from imposing sanctions on senior White House officials. China has urged the U.S. to cease its wrong moves, and Hong Kong officials have said that they strongly object and deplore the Trump administration's steps and have vowed continuously to take these moves by the United States to the WTO. You may ask, are these futile measures by the Treasury Department, given that Biden may be taking over? But keep in mind, Joe Biden has in the past been very critical of China's human rights record, and as well, we're reading the tea leaves here, but there's been fairly muted response so far from Beijing to President-elect Joe Biden, saying no public congratulations has been made by Xi Jinping.
So, Steve, we're getting reports about opposition lawmakers in Hong Kong possibly preparing to resign en masse. It seems like it would have to be a very serious something they're reacting to do something which strikes me as risky.
Sure. Well, keep in mind, there's been pressure in the last year or year and a half on the opposition lawmakers, and we're hearing from media reports that China's National People's Congress Standing Committee, in their 2-day meeting that begins today in Beijing, possibly could disqualify 4 key pro-democracy lawmakers from the Legislative Council. Yesterday, pan-democratic lawmakers gathered en masse and said, we are going to resign en masse if those individuals are selected and disqualified for the Legislative Council. So there's a united front on that front. There's Dennis Kwok Kai-ki, Kenneth Leung, and Alvin Leung, 3 of the 4 from the Civic Party. 1 is the Accounting Functional Constituency representative. So these are professional members of society. 1 is a urologist. They have been using filibuster tactics. Beijing is not keen on that, and perhaps they could be disqualified. That would leave, out of the 70-member LegCo body, 16 pro-democracy candidates.